I'm 30, and I still manage to grow taller using the law of attraction, simply by following these steps. First, you need to deeply and thoroughly research the law of attraction. Read classic books on the subject, like The Secret Asterisk, Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks, or The Magnet by Jack Canfield. These are fundamental books on the law of attraction, and you can find them easily on online platforms or in any major bookstore. Additionally, there's a doctor who explains the law of attraction through the lens of quantum physics and neuroscience, whom Audrey deeply admires, Dr. Joe Dispenza. However, his resources are currently only available in English, so if you're good at English, you might want to check them out. Why is it so important to research these sources? Because if we don't understand the law of attraction deeply enough, we won't truly grasp how it operates. We won't understand its underlying meaning, or why we should understand and apply it in our daily lives. We need to clearly understand these core principles so that we no longer harbor any doubts about the law of attraction. When you have doubts, it becomes incredibly difficult to apply any method fully and completely. Only when you truly understand it, appreciate its value, and still feel compelled to apply it, will you genuinely see that method work effectively. So, delve deep into understanding the law of attraction. The second step is to distill the common core principles from the teachers mentioned in the first step. You don't need to absorb everything you read. Instead, focus on extracting only the most important insights. Remember those key points, read them repeatedly, as often as possible, so they seep into your memory, permeate your subconscious mind. From there, you'll gradually build a new habit. The third step is to apply these core principles using your own formula or the formulas of those teachers who came before you. When I, Audrey, first started applying this, of course, I didn't have my own formula yet. So, I followed the formulas of those who came before me, found in the books I had read. Over time, as months and years passed, I realized what adjustments I needed to make to best suit me. So, if you're just starting to explore the law of attraction, I recommend you simply follow the formulas of these established teachers. My formula, which I'd love to share with you all, is clear thoughts and desires plus positive emotions plus actions aligned with positive thoughts and emotions. These three components are incredibly important. Why do we need clear thoughts and desires? Simply put, if you don't even know precisely what you want, you obviously won't be able to achieve it. We tend to think in images, so the clearer that image is, the easier it will be to attract that experience into your reality. For example, when it came to growing taller, once I, Audrey, decided I wanted to be taller, I created very clear images. What I would look like when I was taller, how old clothes that were once long would now look shorter on me, how I'd perceive objects and people, seeing them as shorter compared to before. What did that feeling, that image, truly look like? You must be very clear and specific about these images. The clearer you are, the more easily you will attract it. The second component is positive emotions. Thoughts create emotions, emotions create actions, actions create results and experiences, and those experiences, in turn, reinforce your thoughts and emotions. So, if you've done the first step while having clear and positive thoughts and desires, then you will automatically generate clear and positive emotions. As Dr. Joe Dispenza explains, after he and his team measured the brain waves of many students, they realized that thoughts carry an electrical charge and emotions carry a magnetic charge. In other words, thoughts broadcast the signal of what you want to the universe, and emotions attract those events, circumstances, and experiences into your reality. Therefore, thoughts and emotions must go hand in hand. It's extremely important. And this is the aspect that many people don't realize the significance of, or they overlook it, or they do it superficially. But according to Dr. Joe's research, emotions attract your experiences. So, if your emotions are weak or unclear, they won't attract precisely what you desire. The third component is to act as if you've already achieved it. In other words, act with the positive thoughts and emotions from the first two components. For instance, if you're currently 1.6 meters tall and you want to be 1.65 meters, then, if you were 1.65 meters, what would your daily life be like from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep? How would it differ from your current life? What thoughts would you have? What emotions would you feel? How would you dress? What work would you do? How would you walk and carry yourself? Where would you go? Who would you meet? You must be very specific about all these details. And the more you act with those positive thoughts and emotions, the more persistently, consistently, and continuously throughout the day, the faster you will attract the experience you desire. Because, as I said at the beginning, thoughts and emotions emit frequencies. If your frequency is continuously and stably emitted throughout the day, you will attract what you want very quickly. But if your frequency is sometimes clear, sometimes hazy, or sometimes very weak or even absent, then you will find it very difficult to create what you desire. Therefore, acting as if you've already achieved it is crucial, and it requires practice. It's not something you can master in a day or two. Those are the 3 steps I applied to grow 2 cm taller in just 3 weeks. There's a small insight Audrey, want to share with you here. After I had grown taller, I realized that throughout those 3 weeks, before I actually grew, I was already so joyful. I was genuinely so happy. Because you need to have positive emotions, right? You need to continuously cultivate positive emotions, doing this and that, engaging in activities that always kept me happy, positive, feeling grateful for life, as if I had already grown taller. It was then that Audrey, realized I didn't actually need to change my appearance. I didn't need to grow 2 cm taller to be happy or to feel confident. In fact, I could feel those things whenever I wanted. That is the reason, the profound freedom in thought and emotion, that's the absolute freedom I've always sought deep within myself. For me, Audrey, that's the most precious gift I learned from the law of attraction. It wasn't about increasing my height, but truly the lesson about freedom in thought and emotion. And now, I understand that I can feel joyful at any time, from within myself, no longer dependent on external circumstances, my physical appearance, or anything outside. So that's my experience. Audrey, truly hope you'll try applying the formula I shared above and have your own experiences and draw your own lessons. I'm so grateful you listened to my sharing. I wish you all many fascinating experiences.